Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update: for those that think that they can't move on and recover, there is life after infidelity. Original post: hey guys, been a lurker here for a while now, and have read stories of betrayal through cheating, seeing so many situations that reminded me of my old pain. But I came out of this in the end. You can too. This is my first ever post, so bear with me if I don't have everything down correctly. Here's the bulk of it. I shared this with another commenter months ago. I really should have made this into an actual post, but I didn't know if I was ready. Sorry, it's a bit long. Years ago, I was best friends with this girl, Carol. We knew each other since we were kids. Her family and mine all knew one another and were close, the kind that finish each other's sentences close. Carol and I were always there for each other. I helped her through some crazy stuff, like her mom had a health scare, but everything was okay, and she got me through a bad breakup in high school. Carol and I had some attraction to each other growing up, but we never acted on it, afraid that something could go wrong and ruin our friendship. Even though she was insanely beautiful, her and her mom and sisters, I kept everything purely platonic. But I would often notice some of her boyfriends she had were a lot like me, and she would always fight with them about comparing me to them. I always felt responsible for these breakups, and told her after her last that maybe we needed to spend more time away from one another so she could figure out what she wanted. She texted me the next day saying she wanted to talk at her house. Got nervous because I didn't know what to expect. She sat me down in her living room and told me everything, that she was in love with me and wanted more than just being friends. At first, I thought it was a joke, because when this happened it was on April's Fools, can't make this up. But then she kissed me and I was hooked. I kept thinking how dumb I was, constantly avoiding this chance that I had with her. Little did I know. Things with us was perfect. I literally felt like a king that found his queen. Our families were ecstatic, in full pre-wedding mode even though we were by now first starting college. Her dad said to me with a grin on his face, "About time." I was wondering what was taking so long. We did everything together, had a lot of good times and bad, but we always faced them and never hid anything from each other. Yup. She was really looking like the love of my life material and constantly told me how she would love me forever. I was on cloud 9 until I noticed in later months that she and my younger cousin, male 18, were hanging out a lot recently. My cousin wasn't exactly the most responsible person in the world. His dad left him when he was 8, but I always looked out for him and considered him a little brother. I noticed he would at times look at my girl the way dudes look at any girl they're on the hunt for, and calmly asked him what's going on, and he would sheepishly say nothing and walk away. I didn't pay any attention to it at the time. One night when Carol and I were chilling in my dorm watching a movie, she randomly said, "Please don't ever leave me," in a sad voice. I told her that would never happen, but all she did was give me a sad smile. After that, things started taking a turn. She grew distant and kept withdrawing from me. Even when we were intimate, as much as we loved it, it felt like it was becoming a routine to keep me happy instead of keeping us happy. This went on for about 5 months. Then by Valentine's Day, she was back to normal, all loving, fun, and full attention. I even bought her a diamond necklace with money I saved up. It was a good day, which makes what happened all the more bitter. I had plans that I was going to propose to her that night, but I had forgotten to get the ring from my dorm. After I dropped her off, I went back to my car and checked to see if it was there before I drove away to my dorm, and sure enough it was there, dropped it under the seat. As I was getting ready to go back in to surprise her, I saw my cousin drive by and park right in front of her house. My car was in the shadows, so he didn't see me, but he went to the door, Carol opened it and they were talking. He kept trying to kiss her, and she feebly told him no, but then they were in full make-out mode. She took him by the hand and they went inside, didn't even bother closing the door fully. I was livid. I actually started breathing hard and heavy, felt like I was going to pass out. I couldn't believe what I just saw. My heart was telling me to wait before I did anything crazy, but my brain said to finish this. I got out and ran to the door quietly going inside the house. No sooner do I go in, I hear her in the living room moaning wildly and him grunting. I was seeing red, but I stayed in control. I took out my phone, hit record, quietly walked to a corner of the living room and saw what I can never unsee. Her riding him, bouncing like some damn banshee. Once I had enough proof, I called out to her and they both freaked out. She jumped right off of him and they just looked at me speechless. Then she went into sobbing mode, claiming, "I can explain, please don't hate us." My cousin was pale, knowing I could easily beat him into oblivion. But I didn't stay around. I showed her the ring and told her, "You threw this away," and left. I got what I needed and just left them, as they chased after me putting on some clothes, trying to BS their way out of getting caught. Then came the insane text. Things like, "I'm sorry, please talk to me. It's not what you think. You don't know his story. It just happened one time. He was being a good friend. He was helping me and I couldn't tell you. Don't break us. We can fix this. You're being petty and immature. And my favorite, it didn't even last long. To finish, she tried to shift blame onto me when I didn't respond. But that all backfired for her when I exposed her. And the fallout was a nuclear mess. Her sisters, except for the youngest, tried to blame me for all of it and trick me into taking her back. But I wasn't having it. Then they told me it was going on for 5 months. Around the time I noticed them getting close, she basically kept sleeping with both of us, with no protection from him. I knew right there I was done with her. They were barely clothed when I busted them. Her in only her bra, and him in only his damn socks. It was like watching a spicy video, only in real time, and me as an unwilling audience. The sounds and things she did with him in that moment. I thought only I could get her excited like that. She claimed she always loved my body. I work out a good amount. But seeing her bouncing on his bony butt, I have to admit, made me feel insecure for a time. There was no reconciliation there. All I could think as I'm driving away from them was, what did I do wrong? I gave her everything and got rewarded with her backstabbing. When we were dating, she was on birth control. Except for one time, I usually wrap up. I was glad I did since my prick cousin went unprotected on her and probably finished inside her. I never yelled at her, never mistreated or ignored her. If she was happy, I was happy knowing she was happy. We knew each other our whole lives, and I foolishly thought she was the one. One time we went to a tarot card reading at the mall, and the lady there told me that a great love would find me. I told her she already did, referring to Carol, but she gave my girl a funny look. That should have been one of the red flags right there. Not a day goes by when I'm not thankful I caught her. I would have married her not knowing the kind of person she really was. The aftermath, as I mentioned, was cataclysmic. After I nuked them both, her parents kept blowing up my phone demanding to know what happened, saying Carol was inconsolable. She lied, so I basically told them what happened. Her mom dropped to the floor, and her father just kept apologizing to me, saying I didn't deserve this. Sides were made in this, and a lot of friendships were broken on both of our families. Her 2 sisters, the youngest didn't know the full story at the time, along with our circle of friends, kept blowing up my phone with texts, saying I needed to talk to her. And the oldest wanted me to take her back, even coming up with some BS excuse about a mental defect she just magically happens to have. Like I should be the one to rug sweep her cheating. She made the decision to cheat on me. Then they told me everything about how and when it happened. Those 5 months she would tell me that she was making up some overtime at her work, and how her co-workers would cover for her. And how nervous he got seeing me when I went to see him and my aunt. I was a trusting fool that always wants to see the best in people, and I got burned for it. Carol kept calling me constantly. In her voicemails, her voice always sounded tired and strained from her crying and saying that I shouldn't do this, that she felt like a part of her died when I left, and begged to speak to me claiming that I swore I'd never leave her. I couldn't allow myself to hear her anymore, so I blocked her. I never responded to any of her messages. My cousin tried a few times to reach me, but I ignored him too. I never forgot the smug smile he threw when I saw him in my rearview window as I drove off. I knew if I saw him, I would want to hurt him, and I could easily do it, and he knew this. But no jail time is worth my freedom. My aunt told me that he felt guilty. Yeah, right. And told me that he did what he did because he wanted to know what it was like to be me. I was done after that. I went no contact with both of them, moved away and never looked back. I was 22 at the time, she was 20 and he was 18. The first year was tough. I was never cheated on before, and it really messed with my head. But I had plenty of friends to help me out, and my mom and dad were a great support system. My buddies actually took me on a trip with them to France to help clear my head. It was the best thing to happen to me. Seeing the Eiffel Tower, eating some madeleines, and learning some French really helped boost my confidence up. And getting to sketch some French girls nude really gave me that extra boost. Now I'm a 27-year-old graphic designer making good money, enjoying my life. Went on some dates but nothing concrete. Then a few months ago, one of the last people I expected contacted me. Carol's youngest sister said she got my new number from my parents and wanted to catch up with me. I was always cool with her, so we started texting and catching up. She and I really clicked. It felt new and exciting with her. Last time I saw her, she was a cute skinny kid with braces. But when she sent me a pic of her now, my jaw dropped. She was out of the world stunning. The ladies in her family were always gorgeous, but puberty took its time on her. We recently met up, and she hugged me so tight, I honestly didn't want to let her go. We started hanging out a lot, and she told me a little info about what happened after I left. Apparently, my cousin did knock up Carol that night. They decided to try something for the baby, but he cheated on her, and then she cheated on him. Things really went south for them when she gave the baby up for adoption. After that, Carol moved to LA. Don't know or care what happened to my cousin. She said she never forgave her sister for hurting me and said that she used to have fantasies of me and her playing house. She had a crush on me and said that she always thought about me and I was the perfect guy that her sister didn't deserve. I told her I like her too and would like to start dating her if she'd have me. So that's where I am right now. Good job, good life, and I'm falling in love again. And I'm happy. I learned a lot from my experiences and want to share my inputs when I see posts put up to let people know there is life after infidelity, to remind people it's never too late to start over. And more importantly, never settle for second best. It worked for me and it can work for them. Again, I'm sorry for how long it is. If you're still here, thanks for hearing me out. Now for the top comments before reading the update. What did Carol say or her parents say when you started dating the younger sister? Her folks, who I always got along with, were surprisingly supportive. Her dad's nickname for me was son-in-law, so when everyone found out about me and their youngest getting together, he said with a pat on my back, "I got my son-in-law back." He really is a chill dude. Her mom was cool with Amy being happy, but I could feel some tension with me. I think she always thought that Carol and I would work it out and get back together in the end. She's at least civil with me. Carol was angry when she found out, started talking about how she had plans to win me back, but Amy wasn't having it. From what Amy told me, it got ugly. The eldest sister actually had to step in and stop them. Carol will always be a pain in the neck for you and Amy. It's important for you and Amy to let Carol know that she's welcome to be part of your family, as long as she's supportive of your current relationship and doesn't make any advances on you. Take it slow, be deliberate, and best of luck to you. You're right about the family part. It's been so long since having to deal with her. But I don't want there to be any more conflict between Amy and Carol. I told Amy this, even suggested that maybe we should cool things off, but she said to me she wants a future with me and won't give us up. I told her I want the same, but we have to figure out how to go about this. Keep in mind, I still haven't seen Carol since our split, which is why I think Carol is going crazy. Her family are having some event at her house which I'm invited, but that means I would see Carol again. She understood if I wanted to opt out, but I can tell she wants me with her, and I want to support my girl, so we're going together. I love her too much to disappoint her. I'll be careful, and thank you. And now for the update. Well guys, I'm back with some new updates on how the confrontation with Carol went after 5 years of no contact with her. And boy, did it get messy. Amy and I went to her folks' house to an event celebrating her little cousin, a birthday. I didn't understand why she was so excited at first, but this was her favorite cousin and he taught her how to play piano, so I guess she wanted to show me off to him. The dude was pretty cool too and was a beast on those keys. The party was good and everyone was having fun, with Amy and I talking to her parents, her dad still joking about wedding dates with us. Everything was flowing well. Then through the crowd, I see the old circle with Carol as their ringleader. I was amazed to see how good she still looked. She still had that laugh I used to love and was turning to be the center of attention. I still wasn't completely ready to face her, so I turned away so that she didn't see me. A few more hours pass, the party's winding down and everyone's getting ready to leave. Amy tells me she'll be right back and goes to the bathroom, while I talk to some people that asked me about my graphic designing. A few moments pass, and all of a sudden, we all hear from her living room, Carol and Amy having the biggest shouting match in the backyard patio, even getting close to blows, all while eldest sister is trying to calm them both down. Carol starts raging on Amy about how I was stolen from her, and that Amy had no right to go after me, that sisters don't go after each other's boyfriends. Amy shot back by yelling, "Then you should have left your freaking legs closed." Carol pushes eldest sister out of the way and tried to take a swing at Amy, but Amy blocked it, and I ran in between them. I had enough of this. I had enough of seeing the girl I love and the ex, her sister that broke me, at each other's throats. This crap was ending now. I took Amy to the side, checking Amy, and yelled at Carol, "What the hell's wrong with you? This is your little sister." She finally snapped out of it, and as she looking at me, the first time in years we're seeing each other eye to eye, she says with her voice cracking, "You came." The eyes on all of us from the living room to the backyard was all kinds of tense. Their parents were so embarrassed. I felt so bad for them. Her eyes watered up, and she asked if we could talk. I knew there was no going back, so I just said yeah, but on one condition, that Amy stays here with me. She tried to argue that she wanted us alone to talk, but I said this is not how this is gonna go down. Either she stays, or I walk. It really made no difference to me. I wanted Amy to stay because I have no secrets from her. She opened up to me so much, I wasn't going to keep her out of this, not with her own family. She's part of my family now, so she deserved to be part of this. We moved to the pool area and then it started like this. Me, "So, what's up?" "Carol, you look good. Blue is always your color. It's really good to see you." Me, not taking her bait but being polite. Thanks. What's this about? What do you want? Carol, I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I just want you to know that I thought a long time about what I did to you. You were so good to me and I messed it all up. Believe me when I say that I don't know why I did what I did. Me, that's a damn lie and you know it. Carol then starts trembling and whispers, I don't know how much you know, but your cousin and I had a daughter. I named her Annalise. I was getting angry. When we were together for those 3 years, we talked about what our first kid was going to be named. If a boy, Elkin. If a girl, Annalise. Annalise was my grandmother's name, and she adored Carol when we were little. The fact that she still names her kid after my grandmother had me seeing red for a little bit. Even Amy was surprised by this. I'm guessing Carol never told her family the baby's name before giving her away. Amy took my hand and rubbed it. We stared at each other before Carol cleared her throat, giving a nasty look at her sister. Carol, why is she still here? This is between us. Me, there is no us. Amy and I have been together for a year, and it's meant more to me than the 3 years I was with you. I love her, and I want a future with her. Amy was tearing up, smiling at me, holding my hand tight. It kinda hurt, lol. Me, whatever you say to me, you say to her. Carol, she's been obsessed with you for years. She used to write love poems and recite them to her stuffed animals, thinking you were playing house. You're not supposed to be with her, you're supposed to be with me. Me, looking at Amy, smiling. Carol, cutting us off. Look, I know you're with her just to hurt me, and I get it. Eye for an eye. You with my sister, me with your cousin, Booty. Can we just start over? I'm better now. I made a horrible mistake, and I'm so sorry. I'm human. People mess up, but I learned to be better. I can get back your trust. Let me make it up to you. Will you at least give me that? The stone's on this girl, I swear. At this point, I was done. Me, you wasted that years ago when you chose to betray me. On Valentine's Day of all days. No, you need to hear this. For those 5 years, I kept asking myself what I did wrong. Why wasn't I enough? It took some real soul searching to see that the problem wasn't falling in love with you, it was being blinded by you. I used our friendship to blind me for what you really were, and why your boyfriends before me never stuck around. You're empty, always looking for someone to fill that glass of nothingness inside you. You never figured out what you wanted, and I won't be another pouring into your glass. I honestly thought seeing you was gonna be tougher than this, but I don't feel anything for you anymore. I had plenty of time with new people, new hobbies, and new places I've been to help me heal. What we had was fun, but we're different people now. I don't see the girl I grew up with when I look at you, just someone that need to get themselves together. I found my special someone, and it's Amy. I love your sister, and I'm hoping one day we'll get married when the time's right. You want to make it up to me, be a better sister, get your act together and stop this fighting. You used to be her hero. Start trying to earn those points back and go from there. Carol was in tears, shaking as if someone dropped a bomb on her. She knew right there this was over between any reconciliation she had planned. She was trying to say something, but ultimately she shut her mouth and then shook her head to me as in accepting it, I guess. She then asked to speak to Amy alone and called over eldest sister. So I gave them space. At the end, all the sisters cried and hugged each other. I think they finally came to some understanding. Their mom, who watched them, looked at me with tears, holding my hand, kept saying thank you to me. Their dad also thanked me, and with a big hug. This whole thing was overwhelming. When it was over, Amy broke down in my arms. She kept thanking me, said Carol gave us her blessing and that she loved me. She also asked if it was okay if she stayed with her sisters for a while at home with the family, saying they needed to finally properly catch up, to which I told her it's okay. She needs this right now. I told her when she's ready to call me. She still owes me those poems. Finally got home to type this out. God, what a day. But I feel better, truly better. Got my peace and helped my girlfriend's family start the long line to repair. Never thought I would ever get this, but I did. I can keep looking to this brighter future with shades. To all the ladies and fellas in the world and on this sub reading my story, survive my friends, survive. This might be my very last post, but again thank you so much for reading this, and again I'm sorry for the length, I didn't want to leave anything out. Honestly, that is a great ending. There is probably so much more you could have said, but in the interest of civility. I am guessing Amy and Carol will have words about her absence when she lost her husband. Obviously never be alone in the same room as her ever again. Also, would indicate you don't want Carol and Amy's bridal party when the time comes. All the very best. A part of me really wanted to tell her off and go nuclear after telling me what she named her kid. I wanted her to feel every piece of pain she caused me, but I resisted. I knew that I was in a better place now, so I had to keep it together. Yeah, Amy told me she wanted to stay at home with her sisters for a while to fix what broke between them, and a lot of that is on Carol, so they're going to have some work ahead of them. Oh, and I don't plan to with Carol, ever. It's part of the reason why I wanted Amy with us when we talked. I wanted her to see that Carol had no power over me and that whatever she said didn't change how I felt about her. Also would indicate you don't want Carol in Amy's bridal party when the time comes. Nope, especially if she's involved in finding the entertainment. Appreciate it, my friend. That sucks because X was trippin', your cousin. She had a baby with your cousin who wanted to be you. A whole baby. Then eons later, you're mine forever. She needs help, lol. Yeah dude, the whole thing was unreal. She literally thought that her naming her kid after my grandmother with my cousin was somehow going to make things better. She watched too many Disney movies when we were kids, so I thought that maybe her brain turned to mush. Things for me are much better now. Job is good, family's good, my buddies are insane, and I've got the love of a good woman who I plan to marry. I'm just riding the wave right now, enjoying that slow ride. If something else happens, I hope you update. Carol always said how she ruined everything and that she wants you to forgive her, but at some point, she got to apologize. Do you think she's really sorry? When are you going to propose to Amy? I look forward to an update on that and Carol's reaction, lol. Did the older sister say something? Carol still called what she did a mistake. That right there told me everything I need to know. I think the only thing she's sorry for is getting caught. At this point, I just want her and Amy to patch things up. I'm waiting for some time to go by with her and her sister's healing first, before I do anything. Eldest sister mumbled a poor, I'm sorry. It's whatever, as long as she learned her lesson, which is wishful thinking. Then 1 month ago, the OP was asked for an update. How are things now? Going good. Amy and I are engaged and are getting married in the spring. Work is busy, but life has been pretty chilled. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update, my boss demanded that I replace all my pants, and then told me she needed to supervise me while I got the replacements. Original post, I wear normal pants to work. Our dress code is business casual, and I have gotten myself sized by a reputable tailor. All my slacks and chinos are from normal brands you'd find at Macy's and are normal, relaxed fit. However, yesterday my boss called me into her office and told me I would no longer be allowed to wear the pants I normally wear to the office and would have to wear something less revealing. Apparently, my bulge is inappropriate for the workplace. I have a normally sized junk. I actually freaking measured it to make sure I wasn't crazy, and I'm pretty close to the US average. Would a woman with large breasts be told she can't wear anything but baggy clothes? Would she be told by her boss that she must wear nothing but restrictive sports bras to work? I doubt it, especially in my workplace where women 2 seats down from me wear far more provocative clothing than my damn slacks. I asked her what should I wear instead. These are my size, and she said just go buy something looser or get a bigger size. I'm not rebuying my entire collection of work pants. Go ahead and report me to HR. Let's see them try and fire me for having too much junk. Edit, to clarify, I'm aware that women have been told to cover up quite a bit in the workplace. I'm not dismissing that, just highlighting the very visible double standard of bodily expression in my own workplace. Now for the top advice before reading the update. I would be concerned that someone stared at my lower part, enough to notice that. I am too. I am in a long-term relationship and planning to propose early next year, so I can't afford financial or emotional turbulence right now. She didn't say who exactly brought this concern to her, so as far as I know, it could have been anyone in the office. Send an email to HR and your boss and her boss and ask for a mediator for your continued discussion between your boss and you about the size of your bulge in your work pants, as you don't feel comfortable discussing it privately with her. Edit, as others have pointed out, it would be best to get documentation of the event in some way prior to doing this. This is the correct way to escalate the issue. Your boss needs better training. You can't just come out and tell your subordinates that you can see their thing. Unprofessional. Harassment even. That's the stupidest nonsense I have ever heard. What the hell are you expected to wear? Parachute pants? Apparently, gotta go full medieval jester up in here. Or go the kilt way. Right, if they can wear skirts, I can too. Email her a quick, "Hi, I just wanted to recap what was said in our previous conversation regarding my dress. You stated, and I quote, that the bulge too big and requested that I buy looser or baggier pants as mine are too tight. Is that correct? I want to be sure we're on the same page here. I'm also requesting a current copy of our dress code to prevent these issues in the future. I enjoy our workplace atmosphere and I want to be sure I'm committed in performing in a way that maintains the standard. Thank you. Watch it disappear. This is what I was thinking too. Get it in writing. If that doesn't make it disappear, then have some fun with it. Seriously though, that sucks. Oh man, I was working in construction and my boss told me I couldn't wear my Carhartt pants. They apparently not only had to be black, but they had to be some stupidly specific brand. But they refused to supply them for me. I got a copy of the dress code, and sure enough, it said bottoms must be this stupid brand. Didn't say pants because they allowed us to wear shorts. Well, I noticed on their website that they also sold kilts. I came to work the following week in a work kilt. It was so comfortable. My boss tried to give me grief for it, but I just referred to the dress code and said it only specified brand, that the color had to be black, and that I had to wear something below the waist, thusly bottoms. He couldn't do anything, and that is how I came to wear work kilts for the next year. And now for the update. I made a post a bit back about an insane demand from my boss. Essentially, she told me that my pants were too revealing and that they showed my bulge when they do not. She then told me that I needed to replace my work pants. To recap what advice I got from my original thread, here it is. Go talk to HR. Never talk to HR. Go talk to a lawyer. Lawyer will waste your time. Your pants are fine. You need new pants. She wants to bang you. She hates you. After dwelling a little bit on my options, I settled for a middle-of-the-road approach. I contacted 2 well-known lawyers in my area and got a consultation from them about my situation. They both thought that while I was sexually harassed, the case wasn't bulletproof as there was little evidence and no pattern of harm. They then also warned me about going to HR without any evidence, as it can cascade into me losing my job in unexpected ways. Fine, since I needed evidence and a pattern of whatnot, I first wanted to read up on what standards my company has set for managers when it comes to dealing with harassment. I requested from our online learning catalog to take the harassment and tough conversations courses that are normally required only for managers. In the Tough Conversations module, there was a scenario where a male supervisor needed to ask a female employee to correct her work outfit as it did not meet the company's dress code. The module in plain English states that the supervisor is not to intervene and to refer the issue to HR. I assume that the inverse, a female supervisor reprimanding a male's outfit, would follow the same standards. I then sent an email to my boss asking her to follow up on our previous conversation. I wrote, "To boss, I want to clarify some things regarding our previous conversation. Please confirm whether or not my understanding of your statements is correct. My pants violated our dress code by being too tight and revealing my bulge. The issue pertains to all my pants, not a specific subset of my wardrobe. This is a requirement from management and not a request. Please get back to me. Sincerely, OP." It took over a full workday, but the response I got was, "Boss, yes, I did tell you to fix your wardrobe. This is not a request." To boss, if management is demanding that I replace such a large amount of work clothing, it must be done at the expense of the company. Please let me know if this is possible, as we will have to work something else out if it isn't. Sincerely, OP. And her response later was, "This can be done, but I must be with you to supervise your shopping. Check my schedule for my availability." Good lord, suddenly the "she wants to bang you" theories seemed less crazy. I backed up the emails to a personal account and sent everything to HR. Less than 2 hours later, I receive a phone call asking me to come to HR immediately and drop my work unless it was time critical. I complied. I was told that they were taking this matter very seriously and that I should take the rest of the day off. I came back to work today and boss lady is gone. I was told right before lunch that she had been placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation, and that I shouldn't worry as it's against company policy to engage in any form of professional retaliation. I sit here now like a king on a porcelain throne, telling you about my victory during my post-lunch dump. Bye-bye, boss lady. Supervise your shopping. WTF. I think the company wouldn't have given a damn, but she shot herself on the foot by saying the company could cover your new bulge-less wardrobe. Yeah, which basically means you will try on the new pants, and I will stare at your lower part to make sure I can't see your junk. Oh yeah, bye-bye lady. Enjoy that dump. Well earned. Thanks, I did. Your email approach was flawless. Got the answers you needed, plus whatever interest she had in you however weird it was, and ended with the professional and tactful approach from the employer. Done. I was shocked that she replied in the way she did. Seriously. In business and personal emails, I am always cautious about what I write, knowing that things can be taken out of context. and the last thing I want is for my email to be on the LinkedIn, or here, or anywhere for that matter. How could she not think that it would not go sideways? That person is not ready for a management position. I would be surprised if they kept her. User Homogeneous Moss got it dead on. That manager would have to be an even greater level of idiot to put it in writing. Most similar cases we had were basically unsolvable because nothing was in writing. Way to prove your boss was an idiot. Thanks. I was assuming that she wouldn't bite. I guess I gave her too much credit. Hell yeah, dude. I read your original post and assumed there was no way that she'd be stupid enough to confirm any of that in writing. You threaded the needle on this one, my guy. Walk tall with that big old bulge of yours, King. Thanks, I will, King. Next story. The candidate I had to interview for this week was my high school bully. I work for a fairly large company in the tech industry. I've worked there for about 5 years now, and I have a fairly high-up role in management. Over the last few weeks, I got roped into helping build a new team within the company and was assigned to do multiple interviews. This was fairly short notice for me, so my job was only to do the interview and give my impressions of the candidate and the results of the interview. The company is also just back to doing in-person interviews, so the process is even more wonky as of now. When I received the list of candidates for the day, I saw the name of a man we will call Brad. It had been over 15 years since I had last seen him, but I could never forget the face of the man who made my high school years a living hell. Brad was your typical bull jock. I was an overweight theater kid in AP Math and Science, and you can see where this is going. Those were the worst years of my life, and Brad was one of the contributing causes to that. So, to see him in the candidates here was a shock to me. I didn't believe it at first, but when Brad walked in for the interview, I knew that I was face to face with the man who tormented me in high school. At first, Brad didn't recognize me, but as we sat down, he remembered who I was. He tried to play buddy-buddy with me, pretend we were friends in high school, and I played along. I did the interview, and he did okay. Nothing stand out, but middle of the pack. He made a joke that I would get him the job right. I laughed along and he left. I finalized the interviews yesterday. I wrote Brad a scathing review, downplayed everything good about him, and exaggerated his flaws. Also wrote in that he tried to coerce me into giving him a good review because he was an acquaintance in high school. It's been 15 years since I graduated high school. I am an entirely different person than I was then. But for some reason, I was dragged back to those days, and I don't know how to feel. My school bully saw me at a reunion 20 years later. He came over, we chatted with a group of people, he waited for the right moment, then asked semi-privately for my forgiveness for what he and a couple of others had done. He said he cannot expect me to accept his apology, that he wished he could undo it, but that he really felt sorry for it. I accepted. Felt good. Kids are awful. Some become horrible adults, many don't. Some good kids turn criminals as adults. That's the thing. A lot of these guys just turn out to be regular adults after high school or college. I was like that in high school, I'm ashamed to admit. I wasn't physical, but I would joke kids. At the time, I just did it to make myself and others laugh. Horrible thing to do, I know, but that was really all it was, and I didn't think about it past that. I didn't have the perspective that my mere presence could make someone anxious and dread coming to a certain class. So stupid. Now, I would be absolutely embarrassed to run into one of those people I used to joke in public. I'd have to apologize to them. Screw the guy who OP had to interview. A lot of bullies turn out to be regular adults, but most people bullied don't turn out to be. Don't you love it when life comes around full circle? It's an opportunity that the universe gave him to add some balance. You're gonna be a piece of trash. See how that affects your life. Don't beat yourself up or feel bad about this. Had Brad changed, he wouldn't have tried to pretend like you were buddies. He wouldn't have made the nudge about you getting him the job. He would have acknowledged the obvious discomfort, apologized for his past actions, and asked you to consider his application. He did the opposite of that. He is still toxic, and you absolutely did the right thing keeping him out of your work environment. Not only for your own well-being, but for the well-being of your coworkers. Exactly this. People make mistakes. Often we are victims of our own past immaturities. People can undo change. Had he clearly shown honesty, gave a proper apology, and showed that he wished he could have been a better person in high school, I would have thought that OP here was now being the bully. However, he did not. He was probably uncomfortable and awkward and tried to push it all under the rag, even trying to do the completely stupid thing of trying to gain credit just because you knew each other in the past. The complete opposite of a meritocratic system on which interviews of this type are built. OP's actions lead to the correct outcome for this candidate, I believe. But perhaps he didn't have to downplay his good qualities. All he had to do was be honest, not for the candidate's sake, but for OP's conscience in the future. All in all, screw that Brad. OP can learn from this, but the outcome for this candidate is an appropriate one, I believe. Hence no harm really done. Now for the last story. People who mock fat people at gyms are just bullies who want to make themselves feel better about their own sad, pathetic lives. Today I spent an hour consoling a girl in the women's locker room. She's a big girl, but wanted to make changes. She's been going a week, and she told me every day people have smirked, laughed, made rude comments, and just been awful. And yes, I witnessed some of it. People always mock fat people that they don't go to the gym long enough, that they are too lazy. I firmly believe this isn't the main case. It's jerks who make them feel so bad about themselves they stop going. She won't go back now. I tried saying I'd be with her, support her and everything, but she won't go. I'm generally worried about her, but she left before I could get her contact details to check she's okay. Screw those people. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I was once sitting in a coffee shop opposite a women's only gym. A bunch of in-shape women sat down on the table next to me, and I overheard the whole of their conversation, which revolved around all the other women in the gym, either being fat, looking ugly, gross, and how one woman made her almost throw up. It was pretty disturbing how dark they went, commenting on people just trying to better themselves. Humans are miserable as hell. Seems like no matter how beautiful we get, or how much we win in life, we're still mean and miserable creatures. Once I realized this, I started taking the bitterness of others a lot less seriously. Sucks, but what else can you do really? It's really difficult being fat. If you're trying to lose weight, aha, funny fat person on treadmill. If you don't try, wow, look at that slob. It's nasty for sure. They can't win. I'm actually still angry. She was trying so hard. God knows how much this will set her back. There's more of us out there who look at a fat person working out and wish it was us with that drive. When I see an overweight person jogging down the street or at the gym giving it their best, I'm inspired way more than some jacked up juice monkey or some Instagram lame influencer, because I know how hard it can be just to start. I would fist bump or say something encouraging to all of those overweight people if it wasn't so awkward having some random dude yell, "Way to go," out the car window. So when I start feeling insecure about how I look or feel in a gym situation, I try to think about all the silent encouragement I'm getting, and I don't even know it. Update: I've contacted the gym about the incident, and they are looking into it. I actually saw the girl again while shopping, and we went for a coffee. We had a good heartfelt discussion, and she's agreed to come back to the gym with me, which is great for both of us. It'll push me to not be lazy too. And after, we will go for a coffee and chat. It's nice I've made a friend and she's feeling better.